Hey, Nelson Gonzalez here, in the third video of this four-part series in which we're discussing the advantages and disadvantages of the four different methods of applying control-release fertilizer. In the two previous videos, we discussed top dressing and dibbling. I'll put links in the comment section below. I recommend you watch them, watch all four of them. That way you can make a better determination of which method of application for control-release fertilizer is better for your operation. In this third video though, I wanted to cover subdressing, and this is a method of application that's used when stepping up a smaller container to a larger container. For example, a great example would be stepping up a 1 gallon to a 3 gallon. And the process, the way you go about it is you take your 3 gallon container, fill it up with a small amount of media on the bottom, just enough so when you step up your 1 gallon plant to the 3 gallon, the top of that root ball is level with what will be the top level of the media in your 3 gallon. Then take your 1 gallon container off your plant, off your 1 gallon plant of course, and you put that 1 gallon plant inside the 3 gallon container. You want to make sure that plant is centered, and then once that's done you can apply more media to the 3 gallon container, filling it up to about 1.5 inches to 2 inches below what will be the surface of the media for the 3 gallon. Once that's done, get your predetermined amount of control-release fertilizer and apply it over the top of the media. You want to make sure you get it away from the plant as much as possible and that it's distributed evenly. You don't want more fertilizer on one side than the other. And now simply we just go ahead and we add more media over that control-release fertilizer. And as with the other methods of applying control-release fertilizer, with subdressing, there's also advantages and disadvantages. So let's go over those. One great advantage that subdressing will provide you with is that it's a very efficient way for you to fertilize your crops. The fact that that fertilizer sits higher up in the container means that the nutrients will have to travel down through the media before they're leached out of the pot. And that'll just increase the probability that the roots will absorb those nutrients as they're coming through. Another advantage that subdressing provides you with, and it's very similar to dibbling, is that if your container falls over, it's very hard for the CRF to fall out of the pot. And the fact that this fertilizer sits inside the media also gives you the advantage of reducing the amount of weed pressure in the nursery. With subdressing, if you think about it, we're feeding the plant instead of feeding the weeds. And lastly, subdressing will also give you an advantage over top dressing. I've done this trial myself in the past where I've top dressed some plants and subdressed other plants with the same rates, same fertilizer, and the performance has been better on the plants that were subdressed. This is more than likely due to the fact that when you subdress, that control-release fertilizer is exposed to higher, more consistent temperatures as opposed to when it's top dressed. Now, as much as subdressing can be a very effective method to provide nutrition to your crop, it also has a couple disadvantages. And I think the greatest disadvantage of subdressing is that it requires a little bit more time than the other methods of applying control-release fertilizer. That being said, I still think this is a great method for you to utilize in your nursery, unless you can go through a pile of media within a couple days, and then I would suggest incorporation, but we'll get into that in the next video. And lastly, another disadvantage that this method has, and it's very similar to dibbling again, is that you have a very large concentration of fertilizer sitting right next to that root system, so that can be an issue just depending on the plants or your growing practices. What I recommend, and I recommend this with anything new that you start in the nursery, I recommend that you go ahead and you trial it first before implementing it throughout the entire nursery. Thanks for watching my video. If you really want to improve your crop's nutritional program, contact me. I'll help you out, or contact your local ICL Specialty Fertilizers Territory Manager. As I've said, we've helped other growers, and I know we can do the same for you. I'll see you in my next video where we'll be discussing the advantages and disadvantages of incorporation. Hey, thanks for watching my video, and if you found some value in it and would like to find similar content, click on one of the videos off to the right, or you can click on the button on the top right hand corner, and that'll take you to my other videos. Thank you.